getting rid of stress. You may come to TM absolutely full of stress, and it may take a little bit of time to get rid of it all. I mean, these things don't happen overnight. I mean, I learned TM in 1989. I learned TM. That's what, I was 28 years of age, so that's what, 31 years ago. So, I mean, I've been meditating for a long time, but definitely, it's progressive. You get better and better and better and better as you go on. So my number one thing for anybody's immunity is to learn transcendental meditation. Get a good night's sleep. Sleep is really important for health, and it's really important for having a strong immunity as well. Very powerful things happen at nighttime when you sleep. And get to bed early. Get to bed early, as I said in the previous video. And then eating good food is incredibly important. And also, it's, you know, it just makes sense if we swapped. Like, I really don't go to supermarkets anymore. I've no reason to go into a supermarket. Maybe if I want to buy some milk, but I just go to a farmer's market, which to me is the supermarket, okay? I go to a farmer's market and I buy my food for the week. And I don't really have to go to supermarkets so much. And I'm supporting the local economy. I'm supporting local growers. The food is not traveling for miles and miles. It's not highly processed. It's not full of GMO. It's not full of trans fats. It's not full of sugar. A lot of these processed foods that we're buying nowadays, they're all just laced with sugar. And they're laced with things that are not good for us. They're not good for our health. Actually, there's a very good book. Hang on a second. If you think maybe I'm making this up and it doesn't really matter what you eat, because actually a lot of people have that opinion. I often get into discussions with people and they say, look, it doesn't make any difference what you eat. It's, you know, it's got nothing to do with your health. And I completely disagree with that. But if you're of that opinion that it doesn't make any difference what you eat, then this is a great book to read. Fast Food Genocide. It's very, very enlightening. And you get it on Amazon or whatever online bookstore that you use by a guy called Joel Fuhrman. So he's a doctor, and it's just called Fast Food Genocide. And it just, when you read that, you become aware of how so many diseases and sicknesses in society are caused by the things that we eat and the way that we live our lives. In actual fact, I believe if Ayurvedic principles were taken on and people started, whoa, that rice is up at the boil, so I want to switch that off. So that rice is boiling, so I've just switched the heat off on it. If people adopted these Ayurvedic principles, it would be a huge step to resolving our healthcare crisis in this country, because it would take all the people, you know, the people that shouldn't be there because they're there simply from lifestyle things. And if you took that burden off the healthcare system, then they could deal with the people who have, you know, very serious things that they're not in control of, like cystic fibrosis and all these other things. Anyway, okay, back to the food. So the rice, I'm going to have to put a little bit more water in there. The dal, I'm also going to have to put a little bit more water in. Now, there's a trick with the dal, because dal itself is pretty flavourless. There's not really much flavour of it. So what we do is we create a thing called, in India, it's called a chunk. And a chunk is just a mixture of herbs and spices that we can then add into the dal, and then that brings really great flavour to it. So what you need to do is you need to get yourself a small pan, a small frying pan. And you put it on and you put some ghee on the pan. Okay, so you put some ghee on the pan and you put it up full blast. Now I'm actually going to show you the veggies, because these have been cooking in there under their own steam. So they're gorgeous looking. And I just have them on a very low heat. You just, as I say, just one or two. So the rice is coming on nicely, so we'll be all ready in another few minutes. So basically what you're doing is you just put some ghee, a small bit of ghee in the pan, and then you Let's see, I'm going to turn this down a little bit. And then you add some different spices. So I'm going to use black pepper. I'm going to use some cumin seeds. I'm going to use some fennel seeds. And I'm going to use a little bit of asafoetida, the hingu. And then I just mix all that around. And you can hear it. It's just a small little pan. You can see them in there. And again, beautiful smell coming up of it. And then what you do with that, once you've cooked it for a few minutes, is you add it into the dal. And then you stir it in. Okay, maybe I can bring the camera over here and give you a better look at what's going on. Now, tilt this down. Okay, so we have our veggies just steaming in their own juices. They're ready, or not far off ready. We have our rice. Again, I just brought it to the boil and switched the heat off, and that's ready. And then the last thing we have is the dal. And the dal, I just put the heat up a little bit because it has to be soft. You know, if it's hard, it's going to be indigestible. It'll give you a very bad indigestion. So it's very, very close to ready. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous taste of it. Now, okay, we'll go back. Let's say that you're not too interested in doing the rice and dal. That it's a step too far for you. That's fine. Do some potatoes. Do some fresh Irish potatoes, you know, new potatoes or whatever's available. Do some potatoes and do the vegetables with them, and that's equally, possibly not equally as good, but it's equally as nice a meal, you know. And then you just use some butter and salt on the potatoes, and so you don't have to do the rice and dal. Dal is hard to get anyway, and it's not available in every health food store. But you could just do that with potatoes if you want. But cooking the vegetables this way is a great way to cook vegetables because it's locking in all the nutrients. And then you have the ghee in with them as well, and that's helping to carry it very deeply into the digestive system, you know. So I'd say we're just about ready to go here. So get yourself a plate. Now, as regards beverages, I think I mentioned this on the other video. Ayurveda doesn't really recommend drinking so much with your meal. Definitely don't drink milk with a meal. Milk is a separate food. It's meant to be taken on its own or with some sweet things maybe, but not with a meal. Do not drink cold water. Excuse me. Do not drink cold water with a meal because cold water is putting out the digestive fire. It's knocking it out. So we don't drink cold water with a meal. If you want to drink anything, you could sip some hot water. Just sip a little bit of hot water with your meal, and just sip a little hot water with your meal. Camera's getting a bit tilted there. Sip a little hot water with your meal, but you don't have to drink anything if you don't want, and leave it for about a half an hour after a meal before you actually have something to drink. Even a cup of tea, it's better to leave it. And after you eat your meal, sit still for about 5 minutes, and then get up and go for a walk. Then get up and go for a walk, you know. It's a good thing to do. And when you're eating your meal, eat it in a nice, settled, relaxed environment. Don't eat if you're upset. Don't eat if you're angry. Don't eat when you're arguing with somebody. Avoid watching the TV when you're eating. And don't have big discussions, big heavy discussions when you're eating your meal. Just eat it in a nice, calm, relaxed environment. Eat on your own if you want, but if you're eating with people, just keep the whole thing very light. Food is a source of celebration. It shouldn't be a source of argument or controversy. So, okay. So this is my dinner. Let's see, can we get you a better view of it? Yeah, where are we? There we are there. Okay. So rice, dal, vegetables. Very standard Ayurvedic meal. And the other thing you need to eat your food, it's very advisable, is to be hungry. And I'm nice and hungry at this stage. So I'll put this up. We'll play it at one of the meetings. I'll put it up on the Ayurveda channel. So just Ayurveda Center. We have a YouTube channel that we're going to start using more and more. The other videos I did for the soup are up on the Ayurveda Center. So if you're on YouTube, just look for Ayurveda Center. But I'll send you all the link anyway. I'll send it out in the next email. And then just start experimenting with these things. Don't be, just do it. Just see how it goes and see what happens. And definitely, if you can, go and get good, healthy vegetables and find a local source. I'm sure there are other growers around. McNally Family Farm are not the only one. I'm sure there's other people growing around. And as I said, maybe we can start our own growing group after all this thing is over. Okay, so I'll catch up with you soon. I'm going to go and eat this. I'll catch up with you soon. So thanks for listening. Bye.